clear how to address them, or whether you have some question about their life, instead of just assuming, okay, this is a transgender person, this is how they are. Ask. Some people are actually willing to answer those questions if you ask them respectfully. So you also check where your question is coming from. Is it just curiosity to know about their lives? Or is it because you genuinely want to understand this person so that you are sensitive towards them? Check where your questions are coming from and ask instead of assuming. The next one is challenge any form of misinformation. If you know that a social group is talking about something which you know is not okay or not true, voice out. You may probably make a queer person in the group feel seen, feel accepted. You will never know who's standing next to you. As I also want to tell, this doesn't mean we are in some very top position where we have to help queer people, not at all. They have been battling their own lives, their own struggles for a long time, even before the heteronormative section of the society, like me, came into picture. They have been battling really well. What we're doing is mere human quality. We're just executing a mere human quality. Last one, know about such communities and engage with them. One of the beautiful ways to do it is to just sign up for the next year's Pride March. This year's was beautiful here in Chennai. Wherever you are, sign up for Pride Marches. Go visit communities. Go visit NGOs. There are organizations that has groups for such communities. Be a part of them. Tell that you're here to just know and support, or just work on yourself. These are just a bunch of basic things that you can do even in your personal and professional life. And I hope you guys will keep it in mind. So I do have a video, but I'm also aware that I am left only with 10 minutes, which I promised will be for questions. So I am going to stop the presentation now. And if there are questions, we can address them, talk about them. If there are none, then I will go back to playing the video. The video is also available on YouTube. I can leave the link with you all, and you can see them later. So now the space is open for any questions.
Yes, Ms. Vidya, I think we have a question in the chat box.
Okay. One second. Okay, I think the question is, first one is, let's say um, a man who is bisexual and not informed about this to his spouse, and he has low libido with his spouse too. What's the method to manage? Um, okay, here I don't know what we mean by manage, but the first thing, uh, yes, thank you. But the first thing to understand is whether the person wants to be with the spouse. First thing,
Yes.
is very.
Yes.
You're here, right?
Yes.
So I can have a direct conversation with you.
He just want to manage his issues because like he is a bisexual and he cannot be 100% with his wife. Okay. At the same time, he cannot able to inform this to his wife too, because so many family members are involved in this, and as you know, like we have a stigma on this too.
Right.
Let's say how we can manage the situation amicably, or is there any therapy or techniques which involve this?
Right. Yes, of course. Therapy is one way to help this person understand that by being in that marriage without letting the spouse know who he really is, he is actually living a limited life for himself and actually providing a very limited life for the other person too. It's not going to be fulfilling for the either one of them. So through therapy, it will be helpful if he can process how he feels about this, having this discussion with the wife. There will be, of course, problems that he will come up with, and those problems needs to be worked with in therapy sessions with the person.
Okay. Out of your experience, is it possible like he can able to manage his both desire with men and women on a same time, or like what is your?
which is why I'm having trouble understanding what we mean by manage. Like, for example, if a person is
No,
identifying as,
he need to need a happy life, both
of
with his
course,
spouse as well
exactly,
as with
exactly. So if somebody is a bisexual, your question is if they can live happily having this desire, right?
yes, yes.
Absolutely possible. I am not going to say it's easy,
Okay.
but I would say it's definitely possible. It takes a lot of resources to help that person. It
Okay.
takes a lot of societal support, psychosocial support before the person arrives at that place, right?
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. And the next thing that I see is, why do certain women had no sexual desire with her husband, excluding family issues?
Yes. Is there is any biological stuff or any sort of other
Uh,
unexplained stuff which makes a woman to have a less desire with his
this
spouse?
is actually a very open question, meaning there can be a lot of possibilities here,
Ah,
right? So just the bunch of things that is coming on my mind is, how interested was this woman in the marriage? First of all, are they having um, personal struggles, meaning somebody who's had history of any form of trauma or abuse can have it triggering them in the marriage. So that is another possibility, which doesn't have to do with family issues, right? So there are several things like that which can be explored with that individual person in therapy to understand what could be causing this,
okay.
right? How do you make students aware about it without parental disapproval? This is a very interesting question. Um, I'm not sure if every parent in the society is going to be for this. Yes, there are going to be disapproval. So I cannot say without disapproval at all. There will be disapproval. But one thing that some parents seem to have the ability to accept is when it comes in books, when it comes in their academics, when it comes as part of their curriculum. Because suddenly parents think, oh, okay, school, if they're teaching means then probably something good only they'll teach. No. I'm saying it's not a great thing, but that's one way in which you can get this to the children without it being completely shut down, because it is a part of the subject, which is why it is very, very important to have gender sensitization programs or even classes in schools beginning from KG. They say, why gender and sex and all we need to talk with students who are in their KG? Gender and sex, in fact, children are uh, people who understand this idea the best ever. I've worked with government school children in the grade 3, 6, 7 and all. They have the easiest and best understanding of this than most adults that I have worked with. And you can structure and tweak the session in such a way that it's not all technical terms. You can make a child as young as 5 and 3 years old understand about gender. So that is probably one way in which you can do it. And forming peer groups also helps, right? Peer groups in their schools, peer groups in their colleges. Because when a student or when a child knows that they have a group where they can discuss this, even if there is a disapproval from the parents' end, disapproval from the family's end, conversation about this can still keep going, right? Uh, is orientation also fluid like gender? I haven't come across somebody using this term to describe themselves, like how they say gender fluid. But there are people who call themselves pansexual, right? When that, to me, is a very fluid term. You can never put anything under one category and say, okay, pansexual means only this, right? So maybe that's one way to look at it. I think I'm done with the questions in the chat box. If I've missed something, please tell me. If any of you are sitting with any other question, we can have a chat. I will also leave the link of the video here. It's a very general video. I think it's a HDFC Bank Inclusivity video. I found it very nice. Just an amalgamation of what we've spoken. You can just have a look at it later.
Any more questions, please?
If there are no questions, then I would invite you all to probably just take a minute to tell me what you got from today's session, how you think it was, what more you would like to hear about, how it felt. If you can just drop one word or one sentence in the chat box, that will be very helpful for me to understand how I can take this forward in the future. Someone is asking if someone identifies as a lesbian, is she that for life? I want to say yes to this, but I'm also aware of people who haven't been even aware of the fact that they can be who they want to be because they didn't know it was a possibility, right? So I have known women who have been married and much later come out as a lesbian. So we cannot question them, oh, all along you consider yourself a heterosexual, now you're suddenly a lesbian. Because that's the space in which they're becoming aware of. Only at that point in their life they think it's safe enough. They've understood this. So it can happen at any point in their life, but yes, people are who they themselves identify as. Thank you. Thank you.
Uh, we would also be posting a feedback link. If you're comfortable sharing your opinions there, we would love to hear them and share it with Miss Vidya as well.
Sure.
The link has been posted. Before we all just wind up, can I request everybody to turn on your camera so we can have one good happy picture? Let's see each other. Let's get connected.
It's nice to
Thank
see
you
you
so
all at
much.
least once before I leave.
Yes. Shall we take? Okay. Smile, please. I would like to deliver the vote of thanks now. Gives me an immense pleasure to deliver this vote of thanks for this graceful event. I would like to thank our chief speaker who honored this program by imparting her knowledge and enlightening us on this important theme. I would like to thank our beloved President of United Psychology, Mr. Nizamuddin Yunus, Secretary Ms. Varsha Vardhini, and our advisor and mentor, Mr. David Sampson, for believing the need of R for this project. I would like to thank my team members for their constant support and encouragement. I would especially like to thank Ms. Kamakshi, the International Service Director at United Psychology, for being hands on and working on this road with me. And last but not the least, our beloved audience for making this a successful program. Once again, I thank you all to be present here. Thank you very much.
Thank you all for being here on a Saturday morning. Hope to see you all soon on another platform.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thanks so much,
Thank
ma'am.
you, Zainab.
Thank you, everyone.